Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dolan Busters Taste Challenge. I have two tequila products, 40% alcohol, and they're both bottled in Kentucky at Buffalo Trace, although you won't see the word Buffalo Trace on the bottles. Buffalo Trace Distillery by Wide World Importers, which is part of Sazerac. Okay, but these are low-profile products, so they're not going to put their name on it. If you want to call bottom shelf products, okay. This was on the top shelf of the rack, though, at Winn-Dixie, because there's a special rack that they'll have, like at this store here, and they'll put all their products together, plus a few others that may perhaps be made just for them. I don't know, but they're from independent other companies, like a bourbon and stuff. But anyway, this is a Winn-Dixie imported premium tequila. It says silver, but they put the wrong label on it. The labels are identical, but one says silver and white, and one says gold and white letters. But I thought about bringing it back to Winn-Dixie because like I said, it's a mistake. But I was like, nah, that'll be unusual. I'll keep it. It's from NOM 1143. That's tells you what distillery. That's Gonzales in Mexico. Okay, so this is bottled in Kentucky for Winn-Dixie stores, and I can remember 50 years ago these products on the market. No, I was not buying liquor 50 years ago, or 40 or 30 or even 20, but it was just an inexpensive option for people. Get a big jug bottle. They used to be glass, back in the 70s and 80s. But if they're having like a family reunion or something, they'll get the tequila white and silver, the rum white and silver, the vodkas, maybe the extra strong 100 proof vodka also, and the bourbon, Canadian whiskey, and so forth, and let people blow through it because you didn't pay a lot. Here's another product that I've never seen in my town or at my parish. We don't have counties in Louisiana, we have parishes. But I found this in Marrero, Louisiana, at a store called Discount Depot. There's two locations of Discount Depot. There's Discount Depot number 3 and number 4. I don't know what happened to 1 and 2. I guess those had failed. I only know of 2. Right on the West Bank Expressway, US Highway 90 business route, major thoroughfare in New Orleans, connecting New Orleans to Houston. Okay, or eastbound New Orleans to Pensacola, except that the bridges they have some bridges that are out on the east side, so you can't take 90 right now. Because the bridges, they built them in the 1930s, and they found out they were structurally unsound, so now they're closed, and they're wondering that it could take 10 years to repair them. I mean, replace them or something like that, crazy like that. So that's a problem for a hurricane evacuation, to say the least. But anyway, this is Tijuana Oro. It's got the Mexican flag and then a old Aztec symbol on top of it. But this is not a true tequila. If you read carefully, it says tequila with natural flavors. And you can notice that with these products from Heaven Hill or Sazerac, two prominent companies. I don't know about other companies doing it. I guess they do. Yeah, I know they do. Jim Beam does it. Beam Distilling. They'll put out a product and it'll say Tijuana Oro, or Skull Deluxe, or Crown Rust Deluxe, or Taka 80. And then below there'll be a small print description. It'll say like vodka with natural flavors, or Miles is another example, gin with natural flavors. So they have them registered as what they call a tequila specialty. They're not registered as a tequila specialty, or a distilled spirit specialty. But they'll have it in the tequila section, or the vodka section, or the gin section in the store, with no differentiation between them. And yes, they're allowed to do that, but because they're going to say, well, you could read the label, and the U.S. government's going to agree. Well, all the people have to do is look at the label, tequila with natural flavors. So if you read the regulations, got to make sure I got my tags correct. If you read your government regulations, it'll say tequila cannot have flavoring added, because there's a chart. It shows each product and it'll say flavoring allowed or not allowed. Simple as that. And then it'll tell if artificial flavor is allowed or if coloring is allowed, adding caramel color and all. So they'll say that. But, let me go rinse this off. It's a little dusty. Not really dusty, but smudged. It'll say that for bourbon. Bourbon, flavoring allowed, X. No, it'll be under the no. So if you read your regulations, it'll say bourbon, flavoring not allowed. But then you'll go to the liquor store and it'll say bourbon with natural flavors right there on the shelf. And you say, well, how can that be? They're violating the law and they're not getting caught. No, they're not violating the law because they've got it registered as a bourbon specialty. So the company will say, no, it's not a bourbon. It's a bourbon with natural flavors. And then you say, I'm complaining to the government. But the Tax and Trade Bureau is going to say, all you had to do is read the bottle. It says right there, plain as day, bourbon with natural flavors. You didn't want it. You shouldn't have bought it. I hear sirens and praying. Okay, so that's how they get around it. You'll notice that this one, I think is the Winn-Dixie, right? This is lighter. It's straw. This one has a little color to it, but they don't say anything about adding color in. And I know Sazerac's good about letting you know if they add color in. So that's the way. So anytime somebody tells you, oh, they can't make a certain liquor with flavoring or a certain liquor with coloring, you could disregard that because they can. If they do the labeling and registration properly. And that's between them and Uncle Sam, Uncle Slugger, Uncle Sugar. Okay. So then you simply have to keep, 99.9% of people buying it, they don't even care. You understand? Maybe hobbyists like myself or you, and we want to check everything out. They might care, but no, most people, they're paying $6.99. I paid $7.99 for this liter bottle. People paying $7.99 a liter are not going to sit there and worry about if it's got natural flavors or not. They're just not going to care. And I see these products selling very well at local stores here. 10 High used to say bourbon blended, bourbon, a blend, which is a class of bourbon, blended bourbon. Which, by the way, is allowed to have flavoring added in case you didn't know if you read your regulations. But now it says bourbon, no longer says blended. It says bourbon with natural flavors. So they would have registered as a bourbon specialty. So, it's like very particular technical details, which mean nothing to 99, like I said, 99% of the consumers. There's the website, $18.99, another few days, and then it'll go back up to $18.99. Now, if you wait a month, they'll drop the price again, I'm sure. They do this constantly. Albertsons, if you live by an Albertsons or a Bonds or Jewel Osco or Safeway, they always do that. They'll have stuff almost perpetually on sale. It won't always be on sale, but it will basically be. It'll be on sale and then it'll drop off for a week. But you just wait and there it is, right back on discount. But it'll be maybe a little slightly different price. And if you go to Albertsons all throughout the store, and then they'll close out some products, they'll get rid of it, like close out with the green tag and get it really cheap. And then maybe a couple of years later, it'll reappear. So it makes you wonder why they closed it out. We don't know. I don't know. Could be shelf space. I know these companies fight over shelf space like fiercely, and maybe it lost its spot, but later on it'll come back. But so that's an issue It's the same story at Walmart. They'll do these closeouts, and now when Walmart does a closeout, they really go full force. They'll take a $38 bottle of tequila and sell it for $10 even, just to get it out the store. And I bought stuff like that. Now it'll last in one day. It'll last one day. I'm not the only one out there like a hawk, looking around. They got other people in this town. They go to Walmart to buy whatever. They're going to pass to the liquor section and just keep an eye open. And they see those bright yellow tag, they'll hit it, jump on it. So if you go to Walmart and see, like, for instance, Old Charter, they had Old Charter, which usually sells, I know a store right now got it $14.99, which is actually a low price for Old Charter this day and age from Buffalo Trace. But Walmart had it one time for $9 even, $9. And they still sell it in the big glass bottle, but they had it for $9 for the regular 750 milliliter. I said, woof, $9. So I bought it. Now, I guarantee you the next day there wasn't a bottle left on the shelf. Because people are going to just scour it. And like Clan McGregor, they decided, for whatever reason, they decided to get rid of Clan McGregor 750s and go just with the big handles, the jugs, I call them. Winn-Dixie did that. Walmart did that. Mathern's did that. Nobody carries the glass Clan McGregor anymore. Why? Probably because most everybody was buying the big jug bottles anyway because it's cheaper per ounce. But when they decided to get rid of Clan McGregor at Walmart, they blew it out for $5 a bottle. And I bought 2 bottles. Why not? $5. Not the world's greatest scotch, but certainly not the worst. In fact, Clan McGregor is pretty dang good. Consider everything considered. Been around since 1934. Made by made these days by William Grant and Sons. I don't know who originally owned it. Might have been them all along. I don't know the history. I just know it's from 1934. Okay, like I said, Winn-Dixie established 1955. I don't know if this goes back that far, but it goes back pretty far. I know this was from 1966. This much I know because I checked the trademark, U.S. Trademark Office data, and they said it was introduced first used in commerce. They'll even tell you the date sometimes, like November 8th. 1966. So it was introduced in 1966, and if you look at it, it says Sazerac was the original owner, and they're still the owner. So that's one of their products that everything they make is not bought out. Most everything, but not everything. Tijuana is one of their original brands. Taka is one of their original brands, probably their most famous original brand, Taka vodka. Back in the 1950s. I've seen some people say 59, but Sazerac claimed it was 52, but whatever. They said they never did understand where the name came from, but they said the guy that invented it, they assume he died, so they don't know. They never asked him when he was living. But the man that developed Taka, they said they assume he was trying to make it sound Russian, Taaka. But that's assumption. They don't know. Okay. But it's a big seller for them. They got billboards everywhere around New Orleans. On any major highway, there's a huge Taka billboard. Since I was a little kid, they've been up. I remember asking my parents one time, Taka, is that stuff any good? And I remember my mother saying, it's a cheap vodka. That's all they said. They didn't make a big production out of it. So that's my exposure here. Taka is the king of the cheap vodkas in Louisiana and one of the top vodkas in Louisiana. But the owner lives in New Orleans, so why wouldn't they have billboards all around, And then when Mardi Gras season comes, Carnival, they'll have that Mardi Gras theme with the Mardi Gras beads and it'll say Taka, king cake vodka. Get it now, And it tastes like a king cake loaded with sugar. Which could be a collector's item in some other states outside of Louisiana, but here it's just common. Every year they got the Taka king cake vodka. All right. Now, I know it's got flavoring added. I just said that, but will that make a big difference with these? I've noticed they don't make a big difference. It makes a slight difference. Like if you get those vodkas, like it'll say vodka with premium liqueur, which is strange. Vodka with premium liqueur. It'll taste, neutral like vodka, but there'll be a little vanilla note. It's like vanilla. What is the deal? And it's like they're adding some kind of vanilla cream to it. Doesn't seem to hurt the sales. So here we go with the taste. The aroma is not much on these. Aroma, yeah, a little tequila, agave juice, agave nectar. That's about it. This smells like water. Water. Same. Agave nectar, like a la tequila, tastes like tequila. Nobody would mistake this for any other liquor. And a little black pepper. I noticed that Sazerac tequilas have like a little black pepper note. No, it does not contain pepper. There's a shade of agave and there's no black pepper, just like water. So I would say that the Tijuana is fine, but it's very washed out. Now you say, well, they added flavoring. Where's the flavoring? Good question. Maybe a little sugar water. I don't think sugar would be considered a flavoring. Actually, it's a sweetener. So could be a little vanilla. I don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know, so I can't tell you. Would I recommend either one? Well, I would recommend this one for very basic purposes. Okay, I'm not going to say buy it because you got to try it. You just won't believe it. I'm going to say try it because it's going to taste like ordinary old tequila, but it won't be bad. And in fact, it'll score in the B range. B, it's good. That's all I can say about it. It's good. End of story. And it's extremely inexpensive for tequila, $18.99 for this huge. I got it for $17.99 because they had it on a super discount when I was buying it last year. Okay, so I'm going to say this is the Winn-Dixie. It's got some qualities to it that are approachable, but it's nothing fantastic. Okay, not to keep repeating myself. It is. I got it right. So 1 win, 1 loss. That's where I stand right now. 1 win, 1 loss. Because when I went up against the El Toro, couldn't tell them apart. I mean, El Toro and Winn-Dixie taste exactly the same to me. I should have called it a tie, but I said, now let me go out on a limb and try to guess. But I was wrong. And, then you start thinking these bad thoughts in your mind, like, are they taking the same tequila and putting different labels on it? I asked them that about bourbon and they got offended on the phone. The lady said, oh, no, we never take the same bourbon and put different labels on it. Absolutely not. I said, okay, I was just wondering. No way. She said, each of our bourbons is a separate recipe. Of course, it might be the slightest little difference, but it is. They say it's separate. Okay, even though they use only 2 mash bills. Like every bourbon Buffalo Trace makes is 2 mash bills only. But you could vary that by making it less strong or stronger, or aging it less or aging it more. See, that's your difference. That's your difference. Even though it's the same grain lineup. And then I'm not talking about Barton and Glenmore. See, they own other distilleries in Kentucky. She talking about Buffalo Trace. But she said Buffalo Trace used the same mash bill. She didn't say a thing about Barton or Glenmore. So that would be off the page. Those could be be using their own mash bills. And since they never mentioned it, they most probably are, which is good because then you're getting different combinations. All right, so yeah, this is about what I thought. No harm, no foul, but nothing amazing, just ordinary stuff. All right, so I got a couple of more Sazeracians coming up, Buffalo Tracy bottles. Then we'll be off to other companies. All right, thank you and have a nice Saturday. Bye-bye.